Hi, welcome back. Let's talk about if-else statements. If-else statements are also known as conditional statements, right? We use this to evaluate different blocks or different conditions. And if a condition is true, then we execute the function nested in that conditional block. It's pretty straightforward. So this is a standard tenet in programming in scripting in general. Uh, and this has even made its way into no code. uh, you know, in the visual representation of an if-else statement would be like a flow chart that says, if something, if let's say a process runs, you might see flow charts that says, if it's yes, go to this flow. If it's no, go to this flow, right? It's the same concept. We're going to write this if-else statement using two different functions, or we're going to just write it twice. The first way we're going to write it is without code, 100% no code. And the second way we're going to write this is 99% code. So here's our conditional. If provided a number, right? If that number is 10, we basically would return the number 10. If that number is greater than 10, we basically multiply by 10, else we subtract 10. Pretty straightforward. If it's 10, we return 10. If it's greater than 10, we multiply by 10. Else, we subtract by 10. All right. So let's one thing to know before we jump into our function is that this function is going to be running in an API that we've already pre-configured. So our parameter that to provide the number is going to be in our request body parameter, right? So I'm going to just add a step to my workflow. I only have one workflow. I'm going to look for the if else. I could just type I, right? If else. The first condition here is going to be if the request body number is equals to the number 10. I'm going to add a step in this conditional function block, and I'm just going to return an object that basically just says calculation. Set that to the number 10. All right. So that's the first condition. Hey, if the number is equals to 10, return 10, right? Now, to add another conditional, we basically just click on the add if else block. So I have another block. Then I can say else if the request body number is greater than 10, has to be a number 10. What we want to do is we want to return an object calculation. We want to say that our request body number, we want to multiply by the number 10. So now we have our two conditions. So we have the first condition if it's equals to 10. We have a second condition if it's greater than 10. Because we are returning both and because every other conditional is an else if, what we could do here is basically just say with a second step, we could just say, hey, if none of these two steps are valid, then we can just return our object, say calculation. We can set that to the request body number field multi I think we want to subtract by 10. That was by the number 10. We're gonna save, we're gonna deploy. So right, really quickly, if it's equals to 10, return 10, greater than 10, multiply by 10, else we basically subtract 10. Okay, I'm gonna open up my API with Postman. I'm gonna put my request body JSON. We want that number in our request body. So I'm gonna start with our first condition, which is 10. All right, so I should get 10 back. If I said 11, I should get 110. If I said 9, I should get -1. Awesome. So our conditional is working. So we've done this with without code. Let's do this with code. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna remove this. I'm just gonna add a step. I'm just gonna say that this is our calculation. My script user interface, I'm gonna select the code option. I'm just gonna say function. I'm gonna provide the number. I'm going to write my conditions. I can say if the number is equals to 10, return 10. Else, if the number is greater than 10, return the number times 10. And the final condition, which is our else block, return the number minus 10. And because we want this to execute, we're going to wrap this up in a function expression. And to pass in our number, we will need to pass in our parameter request body, and we'll map into the field called number that we expect. So it's going to be parameter dot request body dot number. Remember that the request body is a system generated parameter that are available in APIs, especially post request, push request, I think a delete request, and so on. All right, so I have my little logic here. And to return, I will add a second step, return, and I'm just gonna select code again. It's gonna return an object that just says calculation and set that to our variable dot calculation. That's it. Save this, deploy, go back to our API, run the same test. 9 should give me -1, 10 should give me 10, and let's say 15 should give me 150. There you have it. All right, we've basically gone through if-else statements. We've done this using no code, and we've done this using code. So once again, whatever makes you comfortable, if you are the kind of person that, is not really strong with code, and you want to do this the no code way, using the UI that the system provides to help, you can do it that way. But if you're, strong in JavaScript and you're just more comfortable writing code, you can do it with code as well. All right. Thanks for watching.